Hi, and welcome back to episode 3 of Let's Play Satisfactory. During the break, I spent about 2 hours doing some groundwork that will really help us progress quickly here through this next phase of the factory building. I collected all of the nearby foliage and converted it into first biomass and then biofuel. I also made several trips to the limestone node and then processed all of that limestone into concrete. So now we've got a good amount of materials to really boost us through the next few updates quickly and help us start our starter factory. I finished laying the foundation for what will be the platform that we're going to use to build our starter factory. This may look like a lot of space, but it's really just a fraction of the area we would need, just even for our starter factory. And the mega base will be, I don't know, 20 times this area. But this is good enough to give us a good start here. One added benefit of this break where I was doing the grunt work is that while I was out collecting limestone and foliage, our tiny little group of constructors has been pumping out a lot of iron plates and iron rods and copper wire. So these next few updates should go super quickly. And that's our top priority, just getting through the basic updates that we need to really get a solid factory up and running. So let's look at logistics. We've got all of these in our storage containers, so let's bust this out. .500 wire, 200 iron rods, 200 iron plates. Now we launch the pod.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge and split to increase the complexity and efficiency of your factory. The productivity display will help you measure and improve the productivity of individual buildings to aid with optimization.
So those splitters that we just unlocked, that's going to be really important. That'll really help us maximize the ore that we're mining from those nodes. We also gained conveyor lifts. We'll use those for sure later. Let's go ahead and just clear out the rest of tier 1 here really quickly. You can really never have too much inventory space in this game. And we've got about 2 minutes before the pod returns. So the first thing that I want to do in setting up our starter factory is going to have to be getting a full-time miner down on that limestone node. We're going to want a constant supply of concrete being produced. So we'll wait on the pod. We can go ahead and get that set up. There are miners down there. Let's just grab a lot of copper plates and some rods to belt that limestone ore back here. We're out of inventory space. For now, I'm just gonna drag these bricks of concrete over to the side here. I can pick them up again later. going to need more inventory space. Because we have 5 miners, we need 10 inventory slots. It's 5 for the miners and 5 for the limestone ore they are full of right now. Okay. If I'd been thinking, I would have brought the electricity poles down here already, but we'll just do both at once. I'm going to go ahead and convert this limestone to concrete. I've got a little craft bench set up right here. Waste not, want not. Alright, we'll destroy that excess 2. That's all we've got room for right now, that's fine. So when I'm placing this power pole, right under my cursor, you can see the amount of materials I need to construct this. The first is the cable. That's the actual electricity wire itself. And for the purpose of making power poles right now, when it says 24 to 4, I have 24 total in my inventory. 4 is what's required, and 4 is the max distance for electricity poles. If I go a little bit further, you'll see it move up to 5, then the wire becomes too long. So we'll keep it at 4. And now we'll come back and start our belts. Again, this is a pure node. Mark 1 miners can move 120 ore per minute from that node. And unfortunately, the only belts we have available right now are limited to 60 per minute. So we're still not quite getting the maximum amount of throughput from these miners. But we've got belt upgrades in our future. Right, now we'll connect our power. Is that long enough? Perfect. Our pod is returned. Let's get the next update. Our inventory just grew.
Milestone reached. Additional storage options have been provided. R&D
And we've gained access to these little personal storage boxes. We can make our own now, which are pretty handy to have around, just for you'll often find you need to create more inventory for your space temporarily. You can dump your inventory contents into a storage box temporarily, and then pick up or whatever else you need. And you'll know exactly where to find it when you return. I'm actually going to One right now. And just drop these miners into it. So we've got 1 minute until the pod returns. For the next milestone we need just more plates, more rods, more cable. Easy enough. Oh, that's not good. That sound was our power being overloaded. The miner that we put on the limestone node just overtaxed our power supply. So just to keep this running for a little bit here, we'll add a third biomass burner. Hook it up to the power grid and then fill it with biofuel, turn the whole system back on. Current capacity jumped to 60 and our consumption should be a little above 40. There's our pod returning. Let's get this update. Alright, now we finish all of the basic milestones for Tier 1. There are others that we can find and unlock later. Let's just see if there are any of these that would be useful for the first stages of our factory. I think we can get by without them, so let's just proceed with getting our starter factory up and running. We're going to want just a good supply of basic materials to get started. And now I'm going to deconstruct the 3 constructors and the smelters that we've got going at this point. And we're just going to move all of this production up to our platform and rebuild it in a way that's more efficient and cleaner. Put a box on here and just fill it with all of the ore and the ingots, things that I can't actively build with. You can use Control left click when you drag, and it'll drag all of the items of that type. Control left clicking can save you a lot of time. And there's a feature we can use to mass deconstruct these belts to get it done more efficiently. Once you're in the deconstruction mode by hitting F, you can hold left control and select multiple things at once. If you right click, it'll cancel. So left control. Just be careful where you move the cursor because it's really easy to deconstruct things unintentionally. There we go. I'm just going to flip this miner in a new direction. So it's pointing in the direction of our foundations there. I'll do the same thing over here. put the rest of this ore and the ingots into our storage container. Okay. So right now we're limited to throughput of 60 ore per minute by our Mark 1 conveyor belts. That means each of these two miners can support 2 smelters, which is double what we had before. So it'd be 4 smelters from our current iron nodes. I'm going to leave some room to expand this, because I know that as we upgrade our miners and our conveyor belts, those 2 nodes can support exponentially more than just 4 smelters. So there's 2 for now, or 4 for now rather. Then we'll come all the way over here. And we'll add 2 for the copper node. I'm actually going to change this a little bit. Rather than having 4 in a row, I prefer to have them facing each other. Let's see, this produces 30 per minute. That's really not going to be ideal. Okay, we'll go in a row for now. We can always tweak it later. Being limited by the Mark 1 conveyor belts is really a hindrance here. And we also want to set up some constructors to process our limestone into concrete. Now, rather than running back to my hub every time that I need to crank something out, I'm just going to put a craft bench down here, because I know I'm going to need more reinforced iron plates for the constructors. Each constructor requires 3 reinforced iron plates. Alright. Now, in the interest of keeping things clean, I'm just going to put our new walls here. Hopefully this is far enough back. I'm not going to build the full walls at this point. I'm just going to use the walls for the conveyor belts. And now we'll start running our ore from the miners to the starter factory. Let's get some power up here. Just gonna put down several power poles. I've got a few to choose from. Alright. Now we're going to add those new splitters and mergers to our hotbar, so we'll be using those quite often. And I'll have one splitter between these two smelters, and the other between these two. A little too close. While you're building on concrete, the teal lines that pop up just help you align things perfectly. That's also too close. Okay, that'll work. Alright, so now our two iron miners are supplying 4 smelters for iron. Just double the number of smelters we have. We'll set them all up for iron ingots. And there's no iron, so I'm guessing we need to reconnect those miners to power. Easy enough. While we're down here, we'll grab our copper line. short one cable. Just move these power poles. Alright, and just like that, we've doubled the smelting we had previously. The next step will be to get our constructors up and running. I think we'll do 2 iron plates. Let's see, 30 per minute, 30 per minute. And constructors require these uses 30 per minute, so 1 for 1. And iron rods require 15 per minute. Okay, that's what I thought. So we'll do start out with 2 constructors for iron plates and then 4 for iron rods. That'll be fine to start. I'm gonna leave some room here. This is going to be tweaked later as we increase our production, but for now this really simple setup will work just fine. And these produce 30 per minute, so we can combine these onto one belt, as belts currently carry 60 per minute. So I'm going to use a merger. merges onto one line. Now I'm going to set up my 4 constructors for iron rods. And I'm going to set up some splitters. Making sure that each splitter is directly in front of the input for the constructor. And also paying attention to the arrows. The orange arrows where the items enter the splitter, 3 green arrows are on which sides the items are output. So now these ingots will go to the splitter, and from this splitter into the constructor, and to the next splitter. Alright, now we're going to need some power. It's always better to have too many power poles than too few. Alright. I think we're going to be pushing up on the limits of our power supply pretty soon. So the next step is going to be to increase that. It's the wrong recipe. Iron rods. Alright, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 producing iron rods, 2 producing iron plates. And I usually like to, once you're past the ingot stage, I like to have a little buffer. So we're going to make some storage containers. Just fill these storage containers with these really basic components. These produce 15 per minute, 15 per minute, 15 per minute, okay. They're all being produced at a rate of 15 per minute. So we really don't need 2 storage containers there. Let's just double them up. Facing the wrong direction. Producing 30 per minute. Consuming 30 per minute. Excellent. Okay. And the next focus is going to be concrete production. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. Oh, while we're down here, let's boost our power. We're getting close to the limit. Add 2 more biomass burners. You don't really need to worry about adding too many. They only draw, or they only consume as much of the biofuel as is currently required by your factory, so it's not like a constant draw at the maximum amount of megawatts. We'll fill each of these with biofuel. Just make sure that all of our previous biomass burners are good on fuel. Now we're going to run this line of limestone. See how close we can get it here. We're going to reach. Just too far, that's what I thought. It's okay. Let's build a few platforms here. That should get us close enough. Still slightly too long. Alright. There we go. Guess we should set up our copper wire here. We've seen 30 copper ingots per minute. One constructor for wire. Needs 15 ingots per minute. It's easy math. Each of these 2 smelters can produce or can supply 2 constructors each. I think we're going to be a little bit short on, yeah, only 3 more reinforced iron plates. So first we make some screws. Looks like we're low on iron plates too, not a problem. Just run over here and grab some. Okay. Do the same thing here that I did with the iron rods. First we'll merge and then we'll split. Direction was wrong. Choose the copper wire recipe for each of the constructors. And now we power them. Looks like we're almost out of cable. I'm going to go ahead and set up another craft bench over here. Alright. These produce cable at a rate of 45 per minute. I also want to start producing cable. Cable's a one ingredient combine, so that can be made with constructors. Let's have probably 2 of these producing cable from the copper wire. cable requires 30 per minute. So these each produce 45 wire per minute. Two of them together will produce 90 wire per minute. That will supply 3 constructors that require 30 per minute each. Okay, this would be a lot cleaner if we had the tier 2 belts, but we don't have those yet. Let's just make sure those aren't available in tier 2. If they are, it might be worthwhile to do that now. I guess the tier 2 belts aren't available until we've got our space elevator up and running. So we're stuck with tier 1 for now. Okay, there's a way we can set this up. It's gonna be a little bit janky, but it will be efficient. So these are producing 45 wire each per minute. Put a splitter here. Let's give us a little bit of room. Splitter over here. So because this produces 45, each of these 3 outputs will output 15 per minute. Okay, yep, that'll work. We'll need one more. Let's put a merger right here between the two. Perfect. Okay. And now we'll need a merger directly in front of this one. Let's give it a little bit of room. Let's see if that's perfect. And another merger for this. Okay. So, 45 wire per minute, split 3 ways, 15 per minute each. 15 of these are going to the center. We've got 15 from the center over here, so this merger will produce, or will output, 30 wire per minute. These 2 branches from the splitter are outputting 30 wire per minute. They're being merged, or sorry, each branch is outputting 15 wire per minute, merged here into a line that's 30 per minute, and the same over here, another 30 per minute. So each of these lines now contain wire at a rate of 30 per minute. And that's perfect for 3 constructors making wire. It's just good enough. Perfect, actually. That worked out perfectly. Excellent. Choose the cable recipe. And I'm going to go ahead and merge these all into one supply container. Storage container, rather. And we power these up. I'm just going to merge these. It's going to be, the build's going to be over its capacity, but that'll only be an issue for a little bit. I don't think that we're in any danger of running out of copper wire in the near future. One more storage container. Let's try to line it up a little if we can. Perfect. Now our starter base has copper wire, copper cable, iron rods, and iron plates, all being produced at a much higher rate than before. I think this is a good place to stop the episode. Next episode we'll pick up with concrete production, and then unlocking all of Tier 2, and probably a space elevator as well. Thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.